Well, Mr. Ben Poole, welcome back to our modified podcast studio.
Yeah, this thing changed in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Welcome to Field the Table. This is our place to hang out once a week and sit and chill and talk about whatever's on our mind. We did another interview earlier this morning, but I wanted to focus on HVAC Tactical and plans and strategies and this and that. This is not
boring
that.
stuff.
Yeah, that's all work stuff that's out of the way now. Ben,
Ben squared.
yeah, Ben squared. Yes, I'm gonna have a hard time with this. So we got two Bens in the house. We already have two Ben Reeds working at FieldPulse, and now we have another Ben in the house. We got Ben squared and Ben cubed. So Ben squared is
Ben
back
to the
from
power of
vacation.
That's my new name, Ben Squared.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for that.
Yes, no problem. How was your vacation? How's your trip?
It was good. It was good. Back from my 100,000 square miles lake, biggest in the world.
Yeah, Ben went to the biggest lake in the universe.
100,000 square miles. It's huge.
Where's that at?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
It's not.
Oh.
It was quite a funny moment.
Inside joke. Anyways, don't go back and look up that episode. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. Family trip. 2 weeks camping on the island. Did some surfing behind the boat. That's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, big fan.
Did your kids try any of this?
Yeah,
activities.
Yeah, well, my oldest is 6, so she couldn't quite, get up by herself on the surfboard or like kneeboard yet.
Okay.
But she surfed with me.
Okay.
So like we're both back there on the board together, and I'm kind of like holding her as I get up. And when I'm up, she just kind of like grabbed my legs, and I'm just like going. And
okay.
yeah, we were surfing for a minute. Do you do any like boat water sports? Have you ever done the wake surfing?
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. So we actually got up, and I was able to like throw the rope back in the boat and just surf with her for like a minute or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All right. Did you try and get your son out there, even tubing or anything?
So he tubed. Yeah,
Okay.
my 2-year-old, almost 3 now. Yeah, he tubed. So we did some light tubing, nothing too crazy.
I was gonna say, you just put that boat in gear and just kind of let it roll forward. And
yeah, I mean, you're going like 7 miles an hour. Yeah. He actually was a lot more adventurous last year. And then something about like the 3-year-old boy is just like, they're actually like way more timid than you would think. And he didn't want to try anything. Like,
my son's coming around on that now about, he's learned a couple of hard lessons with his face. And so he's learning to be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, funny how that works, right?
How they learn. He did love the jet ski. So
Okay.
every day he was asking to go jet ski. So that was his. And he would let me go full throttle.
All right.
On a smooth lake. So we were going like 50 miles an hour.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All right, Ben Cube, do you get your kids out in the boat and water sports and have fun and stuff?
My kids haven't been on a boat in quite a while, but we're scheduled to do that here in like the next 2 to 3 weeks.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So,
do you have any favorite hobbies on the boat? Fishing, tubing, wakeboarding, skiing, any of that kind of stuff is like your go-to? You got to do it?
Not really. I don't spend as much time on a boat as I would like. Definitely something that I'm trying to change.
You
but
should fix that.
Yeah, a buddy of mine has a beautiful mastercraft, and I go out with him. I don't know, every few weeks. We usually take like a Thursday evening, hit the water, do some surfing, and then just swim for an hour or two as the sun's going down. And yeah, it's a good time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is that the video we saw of you, the little promo you did for FieldPulse? Is that his boat?
That was his boat.
That was cool.
Yeah.
He's actually my chiropractor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Yeah, started off as a business relationship, and we just became really good friends. So, and then he actually writes articles for the magazine too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So,
yeah, when are we going to get a magazine, Ben?
When do you want one?
I mean,
next year.
Yeah, next year, sure.
The FieldPulse magazine.
Yeah.
Who's going to read that?
I don't know. Who reads the HVAC Tactical magazine?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Somebody. All right, you hook us up with your publishers
with your reader list, and then we'll just tag along.
I'm down though. It'll be fun. Who's gonna write it? Are you gonna write it, Daniel?
No, that's what Meredith does.
Oh, that's true.
Well, why don't we just start with an article from you guys in the magazine?
Okay,
right?
all right,
yeah, we go from there.
All right.
So here it is.
Yep.
Is this the latest edition?
Yeah, that's the latest edition.
HVAC Tactical. Is that the name of the magazine? Just HVAC Tactical?
Yeah, it's HVAC Tactical
cool.
magazine. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get real creative with an extra name. It's just
No, it's I mean, just design wise, it's beautiful. I like it a lot. It's a good looking cover.
Ben was bragging on his team earlier.
Yeah, the team that we have, the two editors on my team that helped put this thing together, Matthew Price and Gianna Brusella, two amazing human beings and extremely intelligent, way out of my league when it comes to how smart they are. They are degreed. I am not.
Yeah.
And I could not do the magazine without them. So
yeah. That's cool. Do they come from print background or just marketing or design?
They come from, they both have like English majors. They both come from design background well, Matthew comes from a background of like designing and graphics and also is a writer. And then Gianna is a writer. She just recently got her master's and is, she just loves to be doing this stuff, right? Okay. Editing and writing and just being creative. And, I'm just trying to not put a box around them and just let them do what they do because they do what I don't do. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do they work for you full time or are you like one of their clients or how's that work?
No, they actually were just volunteering and helping with the magazine. And, just recently we had a conversation about bringing them on as partners in the magazine. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah. So, I think it's a good way for them to stick around for the long haul and really put some blood, sweat, and tears into this thing and take this thing to another level. And so that allows, a little bit of equity stake goes a long way.
A little bit of sweat equity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been super great to work with. We've put out, I think 3 magazines so far together, and every magazine has been pretty good. And so it just keeps getting better and better. And so I'm excited to see what the future holds with that.
Okay.
If people wanted to get their hands on it, how can they get the magazine?
That magazine is going to be distributed through supply houses. So you can go into your local supply house and they may or may not have it. If they don't have it, you can ask them to call us and we'll ship them direct to the supply house. But they're free to supply houses. They're free to contractors. If you can't seem to find a hard copy, you can order a hard copy off of our website. It's like $5. It just covers the shipping basically to get it there. And there's also a digital copy on the website. So, and all the ad space in the magazine has a clickable link on the digital copy. So you can, if you see something that you like, you can click it. It'll take you to their website and stuff like that. So
may or may not be a FieldPulse ad in the magazine.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
I guess you'll need to look to find out.
Yeah, you'll need to look to find out.
A little Where's Waldo there.
I was flipping through that digital magazine. That's really cool. I'd never seen an interface like that. How it actually looks like it's turning the pages over for you and being able to zoom in and out and move around on the page.
It actually makes the sound of a page
turning.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I thought that was a pretty cool little trick.
I'm toying with it. I'm figuring out what that platform is capable of doing, and I've realized like, hey, we can embed video in here now.
Oh,
so yeah,
really?
It's like really, really cool. So all that did for me was, as an entrepreneur, right? I'm like, hey, wait a minute. We just opened up a whole nother market here, right? And so like, this is a huge value add for ad sponsors or ad space where you're not only getting what you're paying for is the print, right? But now all of a sudden we're getting these clickable links. We can embed special videos if you so choose to. So yeah, it's been interesting.
I was going to say, you said video with profiling Zach, and then you mentioned your next profile on your next magazine edition coming out. It'd be cool that you could have the print article and like he got 2 full pages of information and in an interview. You could also put a video in there so you could have a cool video to go along with what you read.
Yeah, totally could.
And they could work together, play off each other. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, technology. There's no shortage of technology. I mean, you guys are a technology firm, right? Like, you get it. There's every day they're coming out with something new, right?
Yeah,
so
and then it breaks.
Yeah,
and then it breaks, and then they have to fix it, and then
we complain because we're Americans, right? We're so needy.
No, we don't hear any complaints.
Not everybody loves us. All the time.
No complaints. No issues.
Yeah, we're the only software company with 100% uptime.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
Well, your name is not 1-star field software, right?
That's right. Yeah. Right before we got on, I told him I saw a business in some of the Facebook groups I'm in, trying to keep my fingers on what's going on and everything. A guy started a company and he called it 1-Star Garage Door Service. And his tagline is, "Let's be honest."
That's awesome. I kind of respect that.
And I bet he's murdering the game.
He's probably killing it, dude. And I thought about it on the way home yesterday. I thought, he has all the leash to just be completely unfiltered.
Yeah.
What did you expect when you called 1-Star Garage Door Service?
He's got a 1-star on Yelp. Go figure. You don't say.
I'm curious if he actually does, obviously if he does good work, if the people would still give him 1 star, just to kind of like keep up
just
the.
I thought about that.
Like, it was actually really great, but I had to give it 1 star, if you know, like one of those things.
If you know, and I'm sure everyone in here is familiar with, like the Google reviews algorithm and how you participate with that kind of thing, especially business owner. It's not the fact that you get bad reviews, it's your response to the review, right? And so with that in mind, I thought about that on the way home. When I got home, I'm sure, and I will look him up at one point, I'm sure, and it would be hilarious if all of his reviews were 1 star, but then the description was like, "This guy's great, amazing service, but I had to give him a 1 star." And then as long as he responds to the 1-star review and says, and all you have to do is say thank you, right? And when you get a good review, a bad review, as a business owner or a manager, whoever's managing the review platform, as long as you have interaction with your customers, then you will still place and trend and be able to find, you'll be searchable and all those things. And so as long as if he gets 1-star reviews, as long as he's responding to it and interacting with it, Google's going to be fine with it.
That's a good one, though.
I thought that was genius.
So is he the only one? Have we searched other 1-star companies?
I don't know, but I am too. I am now.
I don't know. 1-star plumbing, HVAC.
Uh-huh.
It's almost business suicide, though. I mean, it's such a gamble to take.
It could be.
Such a gamble.
You're running the razor's edge on that with a name like that.
I'm not willing to risk it.
You definitely have to know your market.
More power to him.
Yeah. I mean, with your new business, you could just file a DBA and just have it as a DBA and just a name. And it could just be one magnet that's on one truck and just see how it goes, see how it works. I think people would hire you just out of curiosity.
Well, I think they would expect your price to be cheap.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
So
that'd be, oh my God. I started laughing at my desk though. That was so freaking funny.
It is pretty funny.
Well, this isn't your first time in Dallas. You come up here regularly, right? You
semi-regular. Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't fly this time. Why didn't you fly this time?
I didn't fly because we had to do dinner plans last night at another meeting, and it was kind of a last minute change, and just made more sense to drive. So
okay. So we're all curious. Why get into flying?
How did I get into it?
Yeah, I mean, how? Why?
I just love airplanes.
Okay.
Who doesn't? Are you a real man if you don't love airplanes?
Yeah, I'm not even sure I've heard the full story. So you own your own plane?
No,
and fly
I wish I owned that. Not yet.
Okay.
So the plan was to buy an airplane this year, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. So the plan is to buy an airplane by the end of next year. Yeah, I mean, I started flying, man, I don't even remember when I started flying, years and years ago. And then, I moved to Texas and then, decided, hey, I want to get a pilot's license. And I traded some work at a local flight school for a pilot's license, and just some things got in the way, and I kind of got the short end of the stick on the deal, and I ended up not getting the license, but I got real close to finishing. And, and I just kind of took a back seat, and life happened, and I'm just doing my thing. Right. But, fortunately, my buddy who owns the boat, he's also a pilot, right? Okay. So we do stuff together, and there's barbecue joints like all over. So he'll be like, "Hey man, we're gonna fly out to this place called Llano. It's a little town, and they got this barbecue joint called Cooper's Barbecue." he's like, we're going to fly out to Llano for some barbecue. You want to go? And I'm like, hey, yeah, I want to go. So we'll go out there. We'll fly out there for dinner and then we'll just fly back. You know what I mean? It's
okay.
Yeah. You turn an hour drive into 15 minutes, you know, which is super nice. And they got little loaner cars at the airport and you can just jump in and go down, eat your barbecue, come back, park the car, and jump back in your plane. You take back off. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
being
awesome.
a pilot is definitely like a kind of like a good old boys club. Like it's a pretty tight knit community.
Okay.
You can get away with a lot because you're a pilot. So,
okay.
But at the end of the day, you know, I don't have my license yet. I'm still technically a student pilot. But people ask me if I'm a pilot. I go, yeah, I am a pilot. I'm just not a licensed pilot. So
sure.
Yeah, there is a difference though. So if I were to fly up here, obviously I'm not flying myself. I mean, I could fly myself, but if something were to go sideways or somebody asked hey, can I see that card? I'd be like, you know, it's like getting pulled over and you're not old enough to drive. Right. So there's a potential problem there for sure. So if I fly anywhere, as of right now, I have to have a licensed pilot with me, and I have a guy, we call him Uncle Greg. He's actually my friend's uncle. And so he calls him Uncle Greg. So we just call him Uncle Greg, and he's a pilot, used to teach Black Hawk helicopter pilots how to fly in the military, and super awesome at what he does. And so we just flew a couple weeks ago. I had to go down to McAllen for down by the border for an event down there.
Okay.
And so I was like, hey man, can you fly me down there? And he's like, yeah. So we jumped in a plane, went down there and did our thing, and flew back. Awesome. And so it was cool. Yeah, it's not cheaper than flying commercial. So it would have been cheaper for me, significantly cheaper, to jump in a commercial aircraft and just fly down there and then fly back.
Okay.
But you have the flexibility of doing what you want to do, leaving when you want to leave, not being molested by security. I mean, there's
some pros there.
Yeah, some big pros.
How much faster is it to like, hey, let's go fly somewhere when you like pull up to the airport, like from like pulling up to taking off?
Depends. So if you have a pre-flight done, which is basically you got to go through the aircraft. So when you board a commercial airplane, you see the pilot sitting in there going through with their little checklist. They have a little, little clipboard and stuff. They're going through what they call a pre-flight check, and they're running through all of the controls, and they have this long laundry list they have to go through item by item, right? Well, every little plane is the same way. It's just that the list is a little bit shorter. So before you go fly, you have to go through this list, and then as long as everything is good to go, then you're good to go. So it depends on how long it takes to do that checklist, and it also depends on if that checklist was completed before you pulled up to the airport. So if your pilot showed up ahead of time, you're usually just walk right in, jump in the plane, and you're taxiing out the way. Wow. So it can be super fast. But it can also take long. So if you run into a problem during your pre-flight checklist, then all of a sudden we got to remedy this before we can leave, right? Which can create problems, because then there goes your time.
Sure.
Right? So now you're waiting around. So
and
there's pros and cons to this, right?
Okay.
But there's you can't beat flying by yourself when you want to go, where you want to go. They say a mile of road will take you a mile, but a mile of runway will take you anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's certainly there's no security, to big lines to wait through. There's no mom with all her kids screaming at you.
Yeah, and they have these things called FBOs. It's basically like a miniature airport. It's like when you sit down at your terminal to wait for your plane, right? You got all the chairs and everything, and it's very much like that, but it's quieter, calmer. No security, right? No, do not leave your bags unattended, right? It's none of that. So yeah, you just do what you want to do, man. It's awesome. So
I've known people throughout my life that have their pilot's license, and I just knew that they had their license, and okay, that's cool. And I never flew with them. I never saw their plane, never hung out, never nothing. And then it seems like all of a sudden recently we went out to Quinlan to do some media with a customer out there. He owns a septic company. He's a pilot. You're a pilot. A friend of my wife's, her dad's a pilot, and it just seems like recently
there's no shortage.
Oh, there's no shortage of pilots. Yeah. All right, interesting. And he's retired now. My wife's friend, he's been retired, and flying is just his hot rod. He has a little Corvette that he bought a couple of years ago, and then he owns a plane, and that's just like another hot rod to him. That's the way he treats it.
And they make
another toy.
Airplanes are just like cars, right? You can have the SUV of the sky, or you can have the Ferrari of the sky, right? Like, and they come in all shapes and sizes, and they come with different price tags. So it's all depends on what you want to do. So,
man.
But by the end of this year, I would like to have my pilot's license finished up.
Okay.
And then, I'll take you flying.
All right, let's go.
And we'll go from there.
There you go.
We talked about when we first learned that you were a pilot. We want to see how high FieldPulse works. So I want to be,
not
in the
this kind of high,
right? No. Just I want to see at what altitude does it cut out and have to go on the online or offline mode. And then, when we come back down, I want to have a whole bunch of stuff done on the app. And so when FieldPulse gets the internet signal again, and then it loads everything up into, the system, into the mothership, I think that'd be cool to see how high FieldPulse works.
Is that our new YouTube series?
Yes.
In the air?
In the air, just flying all over the world, all over the nation.
Instead of in the field, it's I see the field.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
I'm way on top of the field.
There you go.
Well, Ben, you had some questions for us before we started. What you got?
Ben squared.
Sorry.
Yeah, that'll be okay. That'll be me. I just had some. This is obviously our first time, you and I, meeting and hanging out, but your first
Nice
time
to
on
meet you, by the
the.
way.
Yeah, good to meet you.
Good strong name.
Absolutely. Name you can trust.
Benito.
Hey. It's only a few people that call me that anyway.
Don't worry. Both people listen to this will have no idea what we're talking about.
Anyways, but yeah, I figured for the our plethora of podcast listeners, it'll be fun to like get to know you a little bit. So I got some like, what are your favorites? I've got some rapid fire questions and then some personality questions.
I hate questions, but let's go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's just do it. All right. Favorites. Color.
Clear.
My man.
All right.
I see where this is going.
Right off the bat, he failed. All right. This is going to be fun.
I would say gray.
Okay. That's fair. Favorite food.
Tacos.
Okay. Favorite truck or brand.
GM.
All right. Tools.
Milwaukee.
Obviously. Dream vacation. Destination.
Costa Rica.
Okay. TV show.
I don't watch TV, so that's a hard one for me.
Any like old,
Seinfeld
Seinfeld or I don't know, anything growing up when you were a kid?
Home Improvement.
Oh, there you go. Man, you just trades through and through. Favorite color? Tools.
Machine gray.
Yeah,
I said tools, idiot.
Stainless steel.
Yeah.
Sports.
Basketball.
Sports team?
I don't have one.
Okay. All right. We're really big into sports on this podcast.
I don't watch sports.
We track all the sports.
To give you an idea of how much I don't watch sports, my award show in February is on Super Bowl Sunday. So
half the people there will be very upset.
They can show up or not show up.
Yeah. You and I are very similar. I could name 3 sports teams.
Yeah. I gave sports became too political for me, and I'm out.
Yeah.
So
all right. Respect
I can
it.
see that.
All right, some rapid fires. Fishing or hunting?
Fishing.
Beach or mountain?
Both actually. But
really?
I would, if I had to choose one or the other, I'd probably choose beach.
Okay, why?
Because I can get some sun in the process, and I'd have my shoes off on a beach, my toes in the sand, and that's always a good thing.
Don't like the sand. Nope. Crunchy or smooth? Let's just go with like peanut butter. If you like peanut butter.
Smooth, dude. Yeah. No, crunchy
Creamy.
peanut butter ain't doing it for me. That's for sure.
Get stuck in your teeth. Iced or hot?
Depends on what it is. If it's coffee, it's hot. Yeah.
Daniel can't do hot coffee anymore. I think it's a scam, but
you can think what you
his
want.
doctor said it's not good for you. Drink ice. What does that even mean? Anyways.
How do you drink ice?
Iced coffee. I can't drink hot coffee anymore.
Somehow it affects his, what was it?
Reflux.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's made up.
Can you drink hot cocoa?
Huh?
Can you drink hot cocoa?
Yeah, because it doesn't have caffeine in it.
Can you drink hot water?
Yeah.
See, the caffeine, like, why would hot caffeine affect you differently than cold? You know, I think it's kind of.
I was
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, get your doctor on.
Get
Get him
me-
on the horn right now. We
Yeah,
need to
let's
talk.
get him in
sucked.
here. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
All right, there you go. Monday off or Friday off?
¿Por qué no dos?
Well, yeah, clear. Here we go again.
I would probably take Friday off so I get the 3-day weekend.
But you get a 3-day weekend
Right.
with
So
Monday off.
either way, it's kind of a weird question.
I don't know.
I don't know. I randomly found that one. Thought it was interesting.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Few personality questions. What do you think about crows?
That is a strange question. I don't know. They're just a black, evil-looking bird, I guess.
Do they ever give you shit or anything? Or
They have on me, yeah. Maybe not a crow, but birds for sure.
we have a vendetta with crows on the podcast, so I had to ask.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They've been tearing up my garden.
Yeah, I
Just
guess
tearing it up.
I've never had a problem with them. So
Okay, you should count yourself lucky, man. Oof.
They're all over my garden. I have to fend them
Are
off.
maybe
they-
it's like a bad vibe thing you got going.
Oh, it's not me. It's him.
Oh.
I'm good. Crows, leave me alone. I don't have a garden. Are you kidding me? My thumbs are blue, not green.
What was that some Edgar Allan Poe type stuff? Oh, those are ravens, not
Yeah,
crows,
ravens.
right?
Yeah. Which I don't know. Are ravens the same as crows?
They look the same, don't they?
They're
Is that like a British version, American version? The
I almost said
British
something.
version is a raven.
Yeah.
And we just call them crows because we're dumb.
Anyways, do you have an update on the crows? Are they still messing with you?
Yeah. All my peaches on my trees have little itty bitty little crow bites out of them.
Have you tried those methods we found?
No. Well, yes, I did try the one with like a streamer, like going around in circles, and it worked for like 2 days, and then they figured it out. And then my wife noticed that they just tore it up. It was gone. But I put a little streamer out there, like, went in circles, and it was gone. So I think they stole it.
Why don't you just try scaring them?
They're smart, man.
That was my dad joke. I'm a dad. I don't know what to tell you.
So did I ever show you? So I was out with Matt and Joe, and I saw the DVDs hung up in someone's backyard, you know, as one of those methods. Did I ever show you that?
I think so.
I didn't see any crows, so I think it was working.
Yeah, sure.
You should try the DVDs.
Yeah. At this point, I'll hire someone because I'm almost to that point of my tomatoes are shot. Peaches. I have a whole tree full of peaches, but all of them have either squirrel bites or itty bitty little crow bites out of the
Why
top.
don't you just put a net around it?
Because it's a big ass garden. It's a big
Sounds
garden.
like an excuse to me.
Well,
That's what I'm saying, man.
because that's
I mean,
a lot of
he's
freaking work.
a lot of
He went-
complaining,
I
but
wanna
not a
find
lot
a
of
cheat
trying.
code.
Gardening is a lot of work.
Well, yeah, I'm already doing a lot of work. I don't have to do even more work. And plus, I got to let the pollinators.
Well, you're doing a whole lot of work to have your stuff eaten.
Yes.
So
I want to find a cheat code.
netting is probably your best bet.
But that's a solution. Like I want to cheat. I want like a DVD or like something that is like, oh, I did that for 7 cents and it worked.
I don't know. I feel like having this beautiful garden and then seeing these like rotating DVDs flashing light in my freaking face all day long is not a good look for. I wouldn't want that.
Depends what kind of garden it is, you know.
I mean,
you
maybe-
might like some lights.
Yeah, maybe it's disco style.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say spinning around disco lights.
Depends what you're growing.
Sounds like fun.
Your crows are gonna stop flying around and just
start dancing.
that's funny.
So how old are your kids, Ben Cubed?
15, 13, 11, and 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got
scary ages.
And then 5, and then 3. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say.
I only got 4.
Okay.
Nice.
Ben's coming up right up behind you.
I got 3. Daniel's got 2.
Yep. Are you having another one?
We are not currently pregnant.
Okay, all right. We have to ask.
Quarterly update.
Yes, quarterly update. We have to ask.
Are you done? That's the question.
Probably not, but we're gonna wait a minute.
No, I didn't say, are you guys done? I said, are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Because I was done at 2.
Okay.
And I ended up still getting 2 more.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a fair question. No, I think we both want one more. She might want 1 or 2 more. Depends. But we're very happy with these 3, and we're very happy to take a break and let them grow up a little bit and get some, sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep
I
would be
will
good.
tell you, tickets to Disneyland start to get expensive. So just keep that in mind if you like that place.
Oh, we're just thinking as soon as they're old enough to leave them all behind, we're gonna go somewhere else. Yeah, leave the kids. Be nice to get out a while too.
Just pour a bunch of food on the floor and leave.
Yeah, that gif of the giant dog food bag. You just like just leave the bag. Open the bag, put it on the floor. Yeah.
For the record, he's joking. Don't call CPS, and
that is true. Little disclaimer. Also, do we need to edit out the shooting crows thing? Or?
I just didn't want to offend anybody.
Oh no, I think we mentioned that last time.
If you were offended, I'm sorry that you're offended.
Sorry that you're.
Yeah, I'm not offended at what I said. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, we might edit
sorry that you took
the
it
crow
that way.
thing's fine.
Which is the way that we started talking about here about people taking things the wrong way and how Ben Cube just really doesn't care.
Yeah, Yeah.
We're talking about triggers.
Yeah.
People
I'm
getting
from a
triggered.
different era, dude. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do what I do. I'm not going to deliberately try to offend you or disrespect you, but I can't help it in today's culture if
there's so many landmines
if you're
to step
too
over.
woke for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
I'm right behind you. Like I said, I'm only a couple of years behind you, but how old were your parents when you were born?
probably in their 20s, I would think.
Okay. What about you, Ben Squared?
Probably a lot older. Mine were born in the 50s.
Okay, yeah. My parents were born in.
Yeah, my dad was born in
maybe
59.
57, 6 for me. I got old parents.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad is like 64 now, something like that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, my mom was 35 when she had me. My dad was, I think, 38. So I had older parents, and I had 2 sisters who were 16 and 18 years older than I am. So
wow.
Yeah, my dad was sending my oldest sister to college when he was putting my crib together.
Yep, that's how I am.
Oh yeah.
What are you the youngest?
No, I still have a younger brother.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, my sister is 18 years older than me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm.
It's crazy.
To your point though, I grew up being raised by people from a different generation, and so I consider myself from a different generation, even than people my similar age, because I grew up, being taught sensibilities from much older parents, and the point about people being triggered and sensitive and stuff, I just get over it, man.
Get a life, dude.
Yeah.
The world's a tough place to live in.
Yeah,
Got to figure it out.
And when something hurts your feelings, you just move on.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I'm not going to get sucked into your delusional fantasy life. I still have a life to live. I still have a job to go do. I don't get the luxury of sitting around and crying about it and gluing my hand to the street. So, yeah.
We were talking about that on the way over here. This activist group painted a couple of the monoliths at Stonehenge. Painted them orange.
The Stonehenge.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you fix problems, right? You just destroy things. Yeah. You throw fits until people listen. Yeah, that's exactly how you fix problems.
You were talking earlier this morning when we were talking at the table over there about, how you make a concerted effort, and I think you didn't say this explicitly, but I interpreted from you that your purpose in this HVAC Tactical brand and the everything around it is just to uplift and motivate and get people into a better headspace in the trades and promoting the trades and that kind of thing. Do you see people coming around to what we were just talking about stop complaining so much and get back to work?
I feel like no matter where you go or what you do, you're always going to have people who that's just who they are.
Sure.
Right. And it doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter if it's a blue collar, doesn't matter if it's white collar. There's always going to be people who are just negative, people who are just complainers, people who always are going to find the negative thing in everything.
Sure.
Right. There's really nothing that you can do to change that. Right. If somebody's not willing to grow themselves, there's nothing that you can do or say to them that's going to cause them to grow. Right. It's like trying to help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. You just got to give up, right? You just move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a wasted effort at that point. But yeah, for the most part, most people are pretty positive, and they want change, and they want a better industry. They want a better career. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so that's really what it's all about, man. Just pushing people and prodding people to keep throttling forward and become a master of their craft, to be the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. So be a good human.
Yeah. I had quite a few interactions when I was still self-employed of customers, but also people I'd work with. I'd be a subcontractor on a job or something and just complaining. And I made it a point of pride for me to be able to just start a conversation about something other than what you were complaining about. And before you know it, like, you're joking around, especially on a job site, you're joking around, you're having fun, and you've completely stopped talking about whatever it is you were complaining about when I showed up, and all I had to do was distract you for 5 minutes away from your problem.
Yeah.
And now you're fine. Well, just try that. What do you need somebody else? Just
some people, it's just in them. I mean, that's just who they
Yeah.
are, right? And so if that's who you are at your core, I mean, again, you have to be willing to change yourself, right?
Yeah.
Your growth process in life, you can't leave that in somebody else's hands. It's in your hands. You're
Yeah.
responsible for that. Just like you growing in the trade, you're responsible for that. Like, you can't leave your education in the hands of your employer, because they're going to send you to 2 trainings a year, right? The rest of the time is, I can't afford to have you out for training. I need you out in the field making money, right? You have to go home. You have to listen to podcasts. You got to watch YouTube videos. You got to go to HVAC school and listen to this stuff and learn this and learn that. Like, you have to keep doing it on your own if you want to excel and be the best that you can possibly be. If you want to, it's not hard to be mediocre in this trade. It's really not. If you want to be great, it's hard. So you have to care. You have to have a passion. You have to keep educating. You have to keep training. You have to lay down your ego. You have to admit that you don't know everything there is to know. And I think when you can have those characteristics, you really open yourself up to become great at what you do. And then naturally, because you become great at what you do, you turn around and you help other people who aren't great at what they do, or maybe they're great at certain things, but you're helping them be more well-rounded and bring them up, each one teach one type mentality. So,
yeah, I try and do that. Like I said, from here in the office of FieldPulse, I try and do that as much as I can through talking to customers, which I'm about to start doing a lot more of, but then also just and online and all the groups that I'm in, and all the people posing questions about, hey, my competitors are doing this. Should I, do this? They're offering free estimates. Should I do this? And, customers complaining about my price. What should I do? And, hey, I'm wanting to start my own business, and, how should I price things? And I've been through all that. I've lived through all those things. I've had to solve all those own questions on my own. So I'm sure some people in these groups are annoyed by seeing my responses, but it's always a paragraph or 2 of explaining, here's what you need to do, and then here's why you need to do it, and here's how to think about it, and here's a different way of approaching your problem with a customer. And because I've lived it, I've been there, man. I've had to eat my own lunch. I've had to eat so many costs in my day of just trying to, don't do that way, please. And here's why. And then here's what I learned how to do to not be in that situation anymore. And that was a thing that I didn't really see coming when I took this job, when I started working here, is I actually have people have a lot of the same questions over and over and over again, a lot of the same scenarios over and over and over again. I can just give you the same answer 10 times because I've lived that. I've been there. It was a interesting little part of my job that I just didn't see coming when I first signed on here. Kind of a little bonus that I've discovered over time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, what else you got going on this summer? You're going back home tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're getting into summer, Texas heat summer.
Summer's here.
Yeah. Well, we've been spoiled up here, and it's been raining, and I think we just hit 95 for the first time the other day.
Yeah, you guys are lucky.
Yeah.
It's been hot for sure, but we've had a lot of unexpected rain.
So, yeah.
It's pretty unprecedented, I think, to have this much rain. But,
yeah.
Just out there grinding, man, getting it done. We'll be hitting the road again, doing more in the trenches videos.
Okay.
And we just got back from California, did one out in Fresno. And we got some stuff scheduled in, I think, Nashville, Vancouver, Canada, East Coast stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences you find? And this is another thing that coming to work here, I was completely unprepared for this, of just how different people are across the country. This is something I've been wanting to ask you. Is you said earlier today about all the relationships you've formed all over the country. What are some of the big differences that you've noticed that maybe coming from the South, right? From Arizona, grew up in Arizona, then you moved to Texas, Southern heat and humidity, but then up in the Northeast, the Northwest, and Canada even. What are some of the differences that you've noticed that maybe you just didn't anticipate?
I mean, moving from Arizona to Texas the big thing was humidity. And I've been in places with humidity before, right? But I've never lived in places with humidity. So having to mitigate that, and using certain practices to be able to do that, like you would never install a dehumidifier in Arizona, right? In fact, it's quite the opposite. You install a humidifier in Arizona, where in Texas, in Austin anyway, you're not installing a humidifier, you're installing dehumidifiers, right? So that was a huge difference for me. But then I travel over to we travel over to New Jersey, right? And then we were there and we realized like everything there is sheet metal, right? And it's like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. So like coming from Arizona, everything was sheet metal with like some flex duct coming off of it. I grew up in a sheet metal shop with my grandfather. And then moving to Texas, there's like hardly any sheet metal. It's all duct board, right? And I was like, what is this freaking voodoo stuff? You know what I mean? Like this stuff's nasty, man. You know, I really didn't even know what duct board was until I moved to Texas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just seeing things done differently. You get into certain states where like everything's in basements. In Austin, it's not that way.
Yeah.
In Arizona, it's not that way. Right. But I think you guys have some basements up here, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a very rare house, will have a basement. Yeah,
yeah. You get over to the East Coast, there's basements all over the place, right? You get up into Canada, and Canada is like sheet metal ductwork everywhere, 90+% furnaces. You can't do anything less than that. Just HVAC in general is just a harder trade to get into because there's more qualifications required. Like I mentioned in the thing this morning, like the States is the Wild West, man. You can do whatever you want down here, you know? And I mean, yeah, there's still rules and laws or whatever, but for the most part, I mean, dude, people are purging refrigerant and like just doing crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed from some of our customers just about the, so for instance, I talked to one customer recently. I believe he was in Wisconsin. It might have been Michigan, up that way, Minnesota area. And he said maintenance agreements do not work. He cannot sell them. And this might just be in his area. I don't know if it's, the whole state or the region or whatever, but he said, yeah, everyone tried to sell maintenance agreements about 10 years ago, and people just don't do it. People just don't buy into it. They don't. And he attributed it to the weather and how the weather will go from, a Minnesota winter to springtime to summertime pretty quickly. And nobody thinks about using their air conditioner until they have to turn it on. They can't get people to think about using their air conditioner in April when it's still cold outside, and then you need it in June.
Well, I would venture to say if you are planning on selling your company, then maintenance agreements is one of those things that helps add value to your company, to your books. If you're just solely relying on the business that's coming in, I mean, there's value to that. But somebody coming in is going to look, and one of the first questions they're going to ask you is, how many club memberships or how many maintenance agreements do you have? And if your answer is 0, they're going to look at you like, what the heck you been doing, dude? Like your company just took a big nosedive in value.
Yeah. You mean you're just riding by the seat of your pants every month? No recurring revenue?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was something as an example from the regional question of just, what do you mean nobody gets ready to use their air conditioner? And he said, well, there's some years that we don't have to. There's some years that we don't get hot enough and most people won't even turn them on.
Well, the fact that your unit is not running is even more of a reason that it should be checked out. Like, it's like your car sitting there and your tires go flat.
Yeah.
Right. Well, how is that even possible? My car didn't move. Right. Well, guess what? It happens.
Yeah.
When something sits, it's an air conditioner is designed to run.
Yeah.
Right. And when it just sits there, things can go sideways. Right. It just, whatever happens. It goes to start up and that electrical component just goes, nope, done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, it's a good idea to get your stuff checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's a good idea to maintain your car.
Even if you don't drive it.
Yeah. Just like it's a good idea to go to the doctor, get a physical or get checked out once a year or whatever.
No.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I don't go to the doctor unless something's wrong. But yeah, and another example with boilers. I never thought. I've lived in Dallas my whole life. I've only ever seen 2 boilers, and everyone's got one up in the Northeast. Everyone, uses fuel oil or propane or something. And I just, they have
different for sure.
Forgot. Interesting.
Yeah, I come from forced air gas furnace, lifestyle and or heat pumps.
Yeah,
and Texas is the same way. Yeah, but you start stepping foot over towards the East Coast, and you step into boiler country for sure.
Yeah, that was some of the stuff that, again, when I started working here, I just didn't think about that because I've only ever worked in Texas in the South, and so learning from my customers and relationships I have with with different people now about all the different ways that they do business in the country. It's wild.
It's cool because you get to not only meet people, but you see how things are done and how they're just done so differently. Even though they might be doing the same thing, you're like, man, I never thought about doing it that way.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a different trick of the trade that they're using, and not to say that it's right or wrong. It's just different,
Yeah. It's almost like you find these little local traditions, almost like little, I don't know what to call it exactly. The way that somebody does something in New York, even though they're doing the same thing, it's not the same as in Florida. But, you talk about ductboard versus sheet metal type thing. Yeah, you're still building a duct that's going to flow air into the house, but they do it with different materials or different methods, or electricians do this all the time too, with different ways of running home runs back to the breaker box, and then where they tie in that home run. It's either, I don't think you can do it anymore, but in the ceiling box versus the switch box in the wall, and you can do either one, but it's just different preferences and local ways of doing things.
Well, accessibility is key, right?
Yeah,
so
that too.
The switch box would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's also, different names for different things.
That too.
So, we called in Arizona, we called register boxes, we called them buckets.
Okay.
We called them boots. And in Texas here, they call them buckets.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, over there, we called Mastic Glencoat. Glencoat was just a brand.
Okay.
Right. It was kind of a rubbery kind of substance. And then everybody in the industry went to the name Pookie because there was a brand that came out named Pookie.
This is called Mastic, aka Pookie.
Yep. Pookie
and
dope.
Everybody just calls it Pookie now, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting to see different places call things different things. They do things differently. Again, no right or wrong to it. It's just different, So.
All right, man. Well, I think I'm good. What about you, Ben?
Yeah,
Ben Squared?
it was fun.
Ben Cube.
Thanks for coming on, Ben.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you having me.
Good day in Dallas. Gonna see you again here soon. Hopefully, we can see how FieldPulse works.
Anything? So before you go, just to shout out HVAC Tactical. Anything you want to say? Elevator pitch to our audience if they're the first time hearing about you and your company.
If you haven't heard of HVAC Tactical, where have you been?
It's too late. All right, never mind.
Check us out, hvactactical.com. We're also on pretty much every social media platform. Throw us a follow and, comment on our stuff. But check out the magazine at your local supply house. If your local supply house doesn't have the magazine, have them hit us up. info@hvactactical.com, and we'd be happy to send them some boxes. But and don't forget that the magazines are free. So the ad space in the magazine covers the magazine costs. So magazines are free to the supply houses and free to contractors. It's just our way of promoting the brand and what's happening inside the trade, in the trenches with people, men and women in the trenches. It's kind of like our Sports Illustrated for HVAC. So,
and awesome. Everybody in the country, start going to your local suit supply house and start getting fitted for the award show. That's on Super Bowl Sunday.
It's going to be a sold out show. Yeah. So you may or may not be able to get tickets to that.
Well, you can maybe just hang out outside until Ben lets you in. Look, I'm dressed, man. I'm dressed. I'm ready.
The SeaWorld parking lot's pretty big, though. So, you can stand in the parking lot. Maybe we'll put a projector in the parking lot so you can see what's happening inside.
Some tailgating.
Yeah, I was going to say, just tailgate out
in
the
your
parking
suit
lot.
And tie.
Man, that might be a new thing, huh?
Black tie tailgating.
There you go.
You still have to dress up, though. Even if you're out in the parking lot, still have to wear a 3-piece suit.
Yeah, blue collar goes black tie.
Yeah, man. All right, Mr. Ben Poole. See y'all later.
Appreciate you guys.
See you.